If you've ever tried your hand at gardening, you know how irritating weeds can be. They're as annoying as an uninvited guest, and they cling like barnacles to a ship. The worst part is, once you see one, you can bet there are more to come. In this game you're about to watch, Vasily Smyslov, the 7th world champion, plants one of his pieces onto a weak square in his opponent's position. Soon, the rest of his army follows behind, and it's not long before his ever-expanding forces choke the life out of the enemy king. This was the favorite first move of America's two greatest players ever, Paul Morphy and Bobby Fischer. Notice how White's pawn controls the central squares d5 and f5, while his knights have also been deployed in the center. On the other side of the board, Black is controlling 4 key central squares with his pawns, and his knight is also keeping a close eye on the central action. Now that White has developed all his pieces and has castled his king to safety, he starts to think about the attack. His queen is planning to go to g3, where she will be on the same line as Black's king. Although this move attacks White's bishop, it creates a weak square for Black at d5. A weak square is defined as a square on one side's 3rd or 4th row that cannot be defended by a pawn. In this case, the d5 square is permanently weak. White will look to plant a piece on that square because Black won't be able to get rid of it. But first, White moves his bishop. Now take a look at the position. White's knight would love to jump onto the weak square at d5, but the square is protected by 2 Black pieces, the bishop at c4 and the knight at f6. Watch how White goes about getting rid of both these defenders in the next few moves. The knight has finally gotten onto the dream square d5 and will cause Black nightmares. It stands there like a mean octopus, extending its tentacles in all different directions. Not only that, Black has nothing to attack the knight with. The queen or rooks can never take it because it's protected by a pawn. And Black's bishop will never attack the knight because it's condemned to remain on dark squares only. The knight is practically in Black's living room, and there is nothing he can do to get rid of it. Now you may be wondering why Black didn't take the pawn with his queen. Well, let's go back one move and take a look at it. If Black had played queen takes pawn at c2, then White would have played rook to f2, attacking the queen. After the queen moves back to c6, White will play the other rook to c1, attacking the queen again. When it hides on d7, white can play his knight to c7, and that will win one of black's rooks since both of them are under attack. It may seem amazing, but world-class players can calculate that far ahead in the blink of an eye. Now let's get back to the move black actually played, which was bishop to d8. Check. The knight is powerful, but it needs help if white is going to crack through the black king's defenses. To this end, the white rook slides into position and is ready to swing over into the attack. The king is trying to hide in the corner, but it's not going to help. Now, stop for a moment and see if you can guess white's next move. Now black's king starts to feel the heat as this pawn plans to rip open his castle by demolishing the protector on g7. White's queen joins the attack. Black has to stop white from playing queen takes h7 checkmate. Black's in big trouble. White has 3 pieces attacking and black has only 1 defending. Now white plans to take the rook with the queen, and that would be checkmate. The black rook cannot move out of the way because then the king would be in check. The last white piece gets into the attack. The pawn on d6 is doomed. That's a killer move. If black plays rook takes rook, white can take the pawn on d5 with his rook. Now, not only is black's queen under attack, but white also threatens to play the rook to d8 and give checkmate. Black can't stop both threats, so he resigned on the spot. This was a devastating finish to one of the most well-known masterpieces in chess history.